It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely magical, robust lifestyle show. I want to take a moment and thank each one of our listeners today, as you will be listening to the many different platforms where this podcast will be. And I am just so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you for tuning in. You are all in for one incredible, amazingly magical show today, as I have with me a brand new diva, Vivian Shapiro, and her and I are going to chat about Go Vibrant. Oh man, is this going to be one magical show? So Vivian, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Okay, thank you so much, Joy. First of all, I want to mention that I am thrilled and excited to be part of this magical and robust show. Hope to continue to make it so. And just loved meeting you, Joyce, and really so honored and blessed to be a part of the show. So my name is Vivian. It's actually called Shapiro. There is a Shapiro around somewhere, but my name is Shapiro, Vivian Shapiro. I'm from Toronto. I was born in Portugal, spent 2 years of my life there, and then my family moved to Canada, and we did all sorts of different parts of Canada, but I am now lodged in Toronto and have been for many years. And I am, Joyce, I'm going to ask you a question. Did you want me to give a little bio of me?
Yes, just kind of introduce yourself so our listeners know who Vivian is.
Okay, so first of all, I am proud to say I am 78 years old. I just turned that a couple of weeks ago. And the reason for my book, which I'm going to talk about, Go Vibrant, is because I really, really noticed that people of my generation were starting to lose their vibrancy, and yet I was containing it. So I thought I would pass that on. But just a little bit of my background. So I'm involved in many, many different things, but to highlight for you, I created my first book called Go Vibrant, my first solo book, and we'll see if there's more to come. Just about 4 months ago, it got on Amazon. It's on Amazon, and it's getting amazing reviews. So now I don't feel embarrassed about promoting it, because before I was afraid to say, you should read my book. But now I'm going to tell everybody, you should read my book, because people are really getting a lot out of it. I was a former teacher, and then I was a vice principal, and then a principal for many years in the Toronto District School System. Loved every minute of giving back to help make a difference for youth. And when I stopped at, retired at 54, an organization called, long name, the Herbert H. Carnegie Future ACES Foundation, asked me to be their first ever education director to bring their program into schools and make it more than just what it was, which was a creed of living, a wonderful creed of living called the Future ACES Creed of Living. You can Google that, Future ACES, and see what it was. So I was their education director for 20 years until COVID hit, because we were in schools working with students. I spearheaded many different programs to empower youth to be the best they could be, and specifically to work with disenfranchised students to show them that they are all leaders within. And we had life-changing experiences for them with conferences, that 3-day conferences that would bring these, kind of odd students together. And I say odd in the way that you wouldn't have thought of this as a leadership conference, because in the past, schools used to send their leaders to leadership conferences, but they already knew how to be leaders. So we were asking to bring kids who were sitting in the sidelines, who were possibly the troublemakers, but still a leader in that aspect, and maybe change them around. Nonetheless, we had life-changing experiences for these students who now have grown up and given back to their society. So I was very excited about that. And unfortunately, with COVID, we couldn't do, person-to-person But I've been asked to come back now as a consultant and bring back the program. So excited about that. What else is there about me? I'm a vava. That's a name they've given me for grandmother for 13 grandchildren who I love and adore. They range in age from now 20 down to 4 years old. And they keep me living. They keep me vibrant, that's for sure. I have a wonderful partner, Roland Dunning, who is in this stuff with me all along. And what else? I've won different awards, which has been wonderful for my philanthropy work, and also for giving back to youth and empowering them to be the best they can be. So that's a little bit in a nutshell.
Oh, Vivian. Oh my goodness. I'm like, you are so vibrant just in your introduction, and I can feel your energy. That's what I love. It is
Thank
coming
you.
through on this show through audio, the vibrancy, the energy that you have. It's just magical. There's no other words to say it. And you are a true diva because you are working to make the world a better place. And with youth, oh man, that is just incredible. I love what you are doing with the youth and how you have worked with them all through your life. And
Yes.
even after retiring as a teacher, then going on and finding the leaders where others may not have seen these youth as leaders. So that is just incredible in itself. Oh, I'm sure we could do a whole show just talking about experiences and ways that you have seen the leadership come out in these youth, and that will be in the future. So I'm just vibrant already. And
Thank you. And that I could give you many experiences of kids that have become huge leaders when they were ready to go in gangs and, get in there with knives and guns. So there's been such a great change in that.
oh wow, we will definitely do another show on that because
Love
that
to.
is something that would be very touching to our listeners to hear about how you have helped change lives on a youth level. And oh, how beautiful that is to make them into leaders to make the world a better place. I just love it. I love all of it.
Thank you. I knew we could connect.
Oh, I did too. I knew it would be magic. That's exactly what it is. Well, as you came into this, I'm going to ask you, was there a time in your life that led you to start to see the leadership in these youth? And was there like an aha moment that the vibrancy just said, this is what I want to do? I want to show the world how to be vibrant and to see this? Or has it been something that has been inside of you ever since you were a youth?
Excuse me for the cough. So it's a very interesting story, Joyce. I'm not sure what you're asking, but perhaps the answer will become meant to be anyway. So basically, like what sort of brought me to the book to bring it out and to share and to possibly bring out other people's vibrancy. So we're not talking about youth right now, but of course I was always trying to bring out their vibrancy too. I had a strange thing. I had an upbringing where I was very, very insecure. I was bullied a lot. I was an immigrant. I came over from Portugal. I couldn't speak English, and my parents were Holocaust survivors. So it was quite evident they were actually German Jews, which apparently was a conundrum for some people because they couldn't figure out how Germans could also be Jewish. Like that was sort of like the Canadians couldn't figure that out. So when they met my parents, they thought they were either Nazis or or they were Jews, and how could they be both? That kind of thing. So there was a very, very mixed up upbringing that I had. And when I went to schools, I was actually probably the only one up until I was 12 years old, the only Jewish kid in my entire school. And when I first came in, I came in with very, very broken English. as a 2-year-old, like a 3-year-old in nursery would speak. I was speaking mostly Portuguese at the time. And my parents were trying to find their way to make money in this new country. They were actually doing very well in Portugal. They lived in Portugal for 2 years after they had escaped Germany. And it was a very different life for them. So it was a struggling life. And I've written a poem in my book about where I come from. And some of those images are still very strong in my mind. In any case, as I grew up, I wore braces. I had glasses for my poor vision. I was, this immigrant mindset, and living in a world at that point that was very, very white, a very white world as well. So we weren't a mixed dynamic like we are today with the glorious, diversity that brings us all together. That didn't happen in those days. So I was very insecure. I was afraid to take risks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yet my mom, who is like a real hard-nosed individual as a parent, she didn't take pity on me. She just kept me going, and I thank her for that. My dad provided all the love and support, and when I was crying, he would be the one to soothe me. But my mom's the one that said, "You got to get out there and just make your life. Like, never mind what they're saying. You're a beautiful person, blah, blah, blah." And this went on for a while. But it took me, I think, until I was about 14 to actually realize that I had a lot of gifts to offer. Luckily, I was bright. And I survived in school very well. I actually skipped a grade, et cetera, et cetera. So I had that part of me to honor myself of what I could do. I was always the last pick for a baseball game or the last pick to be a part of a team and that kind of thing. And it took a while for me to even see any of the beauty in myself, a long while. And I say 13, 14 now because we changed to a new area and people saw me as a very different person. I came with a blank slate to a high school, and somehow in the summer, I gained a lot of more self-confidence in myself. So now the story changes. I get a boyfriend in grade 9. That helped. I hate to say that it was a boyfriend that did it, but a boyfriend gave me more confidence in myself and thought I was beautiful, et cetera, et cetera. So when I was 16, all of a sudden I became a different person, and I started to get very active in groups. I was on the newsletter committee, and I was a cheerleader, and I started to really do things that surprised even my parents because I was so low key before and so not, present. I wasn't an on-stage person, and I suddenly changed. Now, moving forward, as an adult, I started to, so then I actually didn't want to become a teacher. I wanted to become a United Nations translator, but that's a whole other story. So I won't go into that yet. I did become a teacher. And as I said, I loved every single moment of my education career. I loved the impact I had on kids. Then I loved the impact I had on teachers. Then I loved the impact I had on training others to be the best they could be and give to the world, etc. But all this time, while my life was now aging as an adult, I would have people say to me constantly, "Oh my God, Vivian, like you're so vibrant, or you're so out there, or how do you do it?" And I never ever had an answer. Because I don't know what I was doing. And I basically would say to them things like, "You know what, just live life, just enjoy life." I thought that was it. Just enjoy life. There's a lot of things that are challenges, but just enjoy life. And that would be it. I'd give this motherhood statement, so to speak. So recently, like about 2 years ago, so this went on my entire career, that they were saying things to me. I became successful quickly. I found that everything I did, whether it was start a charity or become a board member of something or be the vice president of a VIVre Foundation, I always created success wherever I was. I partnered with successful people, and we created success together. I also joined Arbonne. I'm a health and wellness regional president. And I started off as a consultant and I became regional vice president pretty soon. Like it just sort of, the road was always there to success, but I never knew why or how. So about 2 years ago, a friend that, or actually a teacher I hired who I hadn't seen in a long, long time, phoned me up to get some advice on something. And because I hadn't seen her in about 15, 16 years, I said, even though it was COVID, I said, we were allowed 3 people in the room, right? So I said, Robin, you have to come over and see me. I can't believe like we haven't touched base in so long. And when she came over and saw me, because she hadn't seen me in like I think it was 15 years, she said, oh my gosh, look at you. Like you haven't changed. Your vibrancy hasn't changed. How do you do it? I would get this question again. And for the first time, there was like a manifestation of the universe coming down on me. There was like this, I'd like to say there was like a light that exploded above me, because instead of just answering her with, you know what, Robin, just enjoy life. Instead of that pat statement, I said, I'm not sure, but I'm going to find out. Something was telling me I have to do more with that question. I've been kind of avoiding it, right? I was not really answering anybody. I wasn't giving them the benefit of possibly a magic recipe that they could do to live their life more fully. So that's when, like, she went home and I thought maybe I should write a book. But then I thought, well, what would I write? So I went into all my journals. I've been writing journals forever. Some of them I don't have anymore because my mother threw them out because I didn't come home in time to get them before they moved. So she just threw them out. But mostly, like I would say, from 30 on, I've been writing journals. And the journals haven't just been about, you know, today I went to Shoppers and I got, you know, 3 packs of eye makeup. No, it was more like intuitive things, reflective things, questions about myself, et cetera, et cetera. I went through those 40 plus journals. And what I did is I highlighted all the parts of the journal that showed I had an attribute, a characteristic that kept me going, that kept me vital, that kept me out of going into the depths of depression, that so kept me going as a person. And I found out that they could actually work out the word vibrant. So there were a lot of V words, I words, B words, R words, A words, N words, T words. And so, for instance, like tenacious for T, and I didn't, just a minute, I got them here because I like bold for brave, and adventurous for A. So I would find out that I did that, and I sort of made this magic recipe created out of the word vibrant. So there was a chapter on VIBRANT. And it was amazing. When I read these stories of mine, I felt like I was reading, I wasn't me reading it. And I went, I was wowed. I thought, you wrote this. You were only like 35 and you wrote this. You already had this vision of what it takes to be a leader, to keep going on, to keep, you know, helping others, to keep yourself from not being in. So I'll just do a little segue here. I have a number of friends my age, of course, and tend to make a lot of younger friends, but I have a lot of friends that are between the ages of 65 and 80. And I was noticing a difference in their lives. And it wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be in Florida eating the early bird meals. You know, I wasn't ready for that yet. And I kind of was sad for them that they had, because I had vibrant friends. I certainly surrounded myself with the best of who was around, that we all fed into each other's energy. And suddenly, like that, their energy was going. They were content to kind of just say, and that's fine. Like everybody's living their fine life. But for me, it wasn't the life I wanted to live. So I thought maybe I could help kind of, if you don't mind the expression, kick people's asses in and just, you know, like say, hey, like, you don't have to be this leveled Like there's still a lot in you. You can paint, you can, whatever. So I was hoping my mission was that when I wrote the book, as well as a legacy for my many grandchildren, et cetera, where they could look and say, this was my vava. As well as that, maybe somebody would read the book and say, you know what? I've got a lot more life to live. Maybe I should start being more tenacious, more bold, more brave, more imaginative, more whatever all the words were that I was implying in this book. So I hope that answered your question.
Oh, Vivian, that was perfect. I mean, you just covered it all. That's exactly. I mean, it's like the universe took it and the words just flowed from you because you never hesitated. You knew exactly what to say. And I love it because that just explained the stepping stones to me, the way I hear it. And I've always heard the universe say what you go through is the stepping stones in your life to get you to where you are today.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that is so true. And you just brought them all to life of where you were at as a child and how it got you to where you are today. And I love that, what you said about to me, what I heard was you started to see what others were seeing inside of you, the vibrancy, where you said before you didn't know how to answer them. It was just enjoy life.
Yeah.
Where you started to take it and you started to see all that. And I love how you journaled because I love journaling because it is so, I'm like you, I write down the intuitive things, the magical things that are happening in your life on that day, and not just a diary of what you did that day. To me, there's kind of a difference there. And I love what you did. Oh my goodness. And how there is more to life and how you have brought that. I am so excited. I must get your book, the Go Vibrant, because that,
please do.
oh, it just sounds, just from what all you were saying, I can just feel it. I just feel the energy and the magic of how you're helping others. And that's what you have done all your life, is you have been helping others to make the world a better place. And now you've come out with the book to show people how to be more vibrant. And like you said, at that age, some people, yeah, they're just happy at what they're doing. But for some of us, that's not what we want to do. We want to stay vibrant and active and keep the magic going, is what I call it. So, Vivian, that was
I have a little saying that is in a poem of mine. 3 poems were just recently put into a book called Soulful Poems. And it just landed on Amazon. So I'm one of 22 authors, and 3 poems were chosen. But in one poem, I probably heard it somewhere, but I think I made it up, but I think probably somewhere it was in the back of my mind. And it's a thing called shift to your gift. So, we all have gifts in ourselves that we actually don't realize. We don't realize that because we're so involved in, I have to be careful here, but we're involved with what's wrong with the world. Like we're looking at, oh my gosh, look at what's happening here. Look what's happening here. Look what's happening here. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is awful. And all you hear when you, like, I am a proponent of not watching the news, although now I'm glued to it because of what certain things are happening. But basically, I do not like listening to the news, especially before bedtime. I don't like it on. I don't like images on all day. And I have this constant fight with my darling partner because he is a news addict. And that's okay, but not when I'm around. I have to stop those images. And what I want to say here, backtracking, is that people are so obsessed with what's out there instead of looking at themselves and the small difference they can make. And I believe that everyone can make a small difference to the world by starting with themselves, by looking at what skills and gifts they have to offer and shift to their gift, right? Like, look inside you. Are you a person that can teach others how to, and then fill in the blank, how to paint, how to write a book, how to live life, how to do poetry, how to sing, whatever it is, you have the gift, then work on that gift and share it with people you never thought of sharing it with, young people, old people, and work on the magic that, your show is magic. Work on the magic you can bring, because that's the only way we are going to help what's happening in the world, is one-on-one, simple, one step at a time, that the magic you can bring instead of the horrors that you might be thinking are happening. I didn't say that right, but you know
No.
what I mean.
Oh, yes. I love that. Shift to your gift.
Yeah.
And starting within yourself is so, that's what I keep saying, is you have to start within you before you can be of service to others and help others.
Yeah.
And what I was hearing you saying, stop living, my thought always comes into mind, stop living from your head and live from your heart.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
Then
yes.
the magic
Writing that
starts.
down.
Because that's just how I feel. When you live from your heart and get out of your head, you will see the magic everywhere. Oh, Vivian, this has just been incredible. I have loved every moment of this, and it has gone so quickly.
I know.
Way too quickly. As we are coming to a close on this show, one question I have to ask immediately is, will you please be back on Robust Lifestyles so you can share so much more of the vibrancy with our listeners?
Absolutely. I would be happy to. And I do have so much more to share.
Oh,
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yes.
I love it. And then before we do close, would you please share how our listeners may get in contact with you and how they can also get your book called Go Vibrant?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity.
Yes.
So everybody out there in the world, I encourage you to read the book, because trust me, you don't make money from books. It's not about any money. But I have a lot to share in it. And now, after reading some of the reviews of people that I don't know and how wonderful they are feeling after reading the book, I will share that with you. So that's an easy one. That's on Amazon, no matter what country you're from. It's on your Amazon, and you just have to go to either my name, Vivian Shapiro, Shapiro, and my books will come out, because I have a few collaboration books too, and or to the words Go Vibrant. And if you, sometimes there's a Go Vibrant calendar or something that comes out. So if you say Go Vibrant book, it'll go to exactly the book, and you'll see a very, very vibrant looking book in front of you of turquoises and pinks and oranges splashing out at you. So that's that. And then a very easy way of contacting me is, I have a website, and the website is very, very simple. It's www. and then my name, vivianshapiro.com. And you'll get everything about me, all the different things I'm doing in life, etc. You'll see pictures of me, and it will have ways to get in contact with me as well. I have an Instagram site, a Facebook site, and all of those are on you can see all of those on the website. And my Instagram is called Vibrant Vivian Shapiro. So I'd love to chat with any of you who have heard this podcast and want to know more. Love to get in touch with anybody and anyone. That's anybody and anyone. Did I say that?
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing all that, how to receive your book, where to find it, and how to find you. Oh, Vivian, this has just been totally magical. And with that, I want to wish you a very, very magical day and magical times till you and I connect again on our Robust Lifestyle show.
Absolutely. I loved creating magic with you, Joyce. This is not an end.
Oh, definitely. I love it. And with that, I want to thank each one of our listeners again who are listening to this show. And please share this incredible, magical show with all your family and friends. be sure to check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember, some of the tips that Vivian gave us today: shift to your gift. I absolutely love that. And starting with yourself, starting inside is where it all begins, so you can help give out to others. And as I had said, what I took was live from your heart and not your head. And that's where the magic begins. So with that, I want each one of you to have an absolutely magical day. Remember, be kind to all. And one other thing on Divas That Care with Candace Gish as our founder, she has produced an awesome book called Podcast Journal, where you may keep track of all these wonderful, magical podcasts that you watch each and every day and write down, are they an inspirational one and what they are about. This podcast journal is a great gift to yourself and to others. And it may be found on Amazon and also on Absolute Love Publishing. They are the ones where you can find it also. So be sure to check out Candace Gish's book also on Podcast Journal. And remember, give your animals a great big extra hug and share all your love with them, as they so deserve it. Until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.